The sixth master skill is learning to lead. Most Filipinos are not leaders. They want to be led. Kaya ang hirap-hirap, kasi naghahanap tayo lagi ng sinong tutulak sa atin, sinong sisipa tayo sa atin, sinong kakadyo, sinong tutulak. Ha? We want to be led. Alam mo, one of the difficulties sa mga seafarers, do you know that 1/3 of the world seafarers, mga seamen, are Filipinos? But they never reach captain status. Well, siguro may isa, dalawa, pero I ask manpower agency dito, one of those training the seamen, and they do business outsourcing. Kasi kulang sa self-confidence, kulang sa dating, kulang sa personalidad, kulang sa belief sa sarili. We're not gonna make you a captain if you lack that self-mastery. I'm sorry, you won't be captain. So, do you know how to lead? There are 3 aspects to leadership, good leadership. Number 1, are you an inspirational leader? Do you have a great vision for your organization? Are you mission-driven? Are your values clear? And do you actually display those values in action? And as a leader, do you serve your organization or do you prefer to be served? Inspirational leadership. It gives the charge to the organization. It gives the energy. It ignites the spirit of the organization. Number 2 is transformational leadership. Do you have the ability to turn around, transform an organization? And I will say transform is not just getting the financials in order. The greater transformation is inside. Because a lot of what I can hear, all of your successes, they come from transactions. I'm transacted with these contractors, I'm transacted with this, and those are transactions. Transaction is different from transformation. So there's a challenge to you because I look at your vision and mission, and it is not about transaction. It is not about what Eileen said. I'm sorry, it was Mr. Lang that gave the vision mission, not me. His vision and mission have to do with transformation, not transaction. I don't know whether the real vision and mission of the company is transaction or transformation. Better to have both, di ba? I'm transformed, but my pocket is full. Di ba? Better to have both. But remember, that's transactional performance. That's not transformational performance. And you have to have both. And what are the aspects of transformation? Number 1, magandang pag-aaral, scholarly work, and the 3 S's, 3 S's. The leader as scholar, pinag-aaralan niya situation. The greatest generals, they have situation mastery. Napag-aaralan nila yung kaaway, yung weaponry, yung lakas, yung galing, and they know what strategies to use. If I have a longer time with you, I'll show you some military strategies from the word where the word strategy came from. Pag-aaral. Number 2, sensing people. Sensing your soldiers, sensing your organization, sensing the pulse of your people. Number 2. Number 3, seer. Do you have the power to see the future? 3 aspects in transformation. Do you know how to study well? Do you have to can you sense people well? And can you see the future? Basic yan sa lahat ng transformational leaders. From there, you move a rank higher. Becoming a warrior king or a philosopher king or queen for that matter. The warrior king is coming up with the right strategies, the right direction, the right way of doing things. After you have studied and sensed and saw, then you know the best strategy. But more important than strategy is philosophy. Why? My biggest example there is Mao Zedong. He was like the first emperor of China. He was the warrior king. But for 30 years, China had famine. Sure, he won the war. He drove out all the whites from China. He drove out all the foreign powers. Drove out Chiang Kai-shek into Formosa, now Taiwan. But his country was poor. They ate all the animals. When I went to China in 1984, the only pets they had were birds. No dogs, no cats. I didn't see any rats. They ate all of them. That's true. So the warrior king was successful. But what drove China to where it is now? Deng Xiaoping. Alam mo sa China, may mga banners. Andun yung kanilang filosofiya, yung slogans nila. Deng Xiaoping just uttered one slogan, sabi ni Deng Xiaoping. To be rich is glorious. Sinabi lang niya. Alam mo itong communism. Communal nga. We're commonly poor. Sabi ni Deng Xiaoping, mali yan to be commonly poor. Siguro what communism means is we're commonly rich. Why should we be commonly poor? Commune? Share, walang individual motivation, walang entrepreneurship. Sabi ni Deng Xiaoping, mali yan Mali yan. That's not what motivates our country to greatness. So, by the shift in leadership from a warrior king to a philosopher king, China, you can see now China going head to head with the US. And the US will get left behind. Mind you, I'm telling you, particularly with Mr. Trump. No, really. Distancing himself for his allies, etc., etc. I just want to take care of my voters in Iowa or Wisconsin or wherever. Very, very narrow perspective. And China, global. One belt, one road. They're resurrecting the old Silk Road and Spice Road that came from the east all the way to the west and back. That's what he's doing. That's why he's going to every country. China is resurrecting its greatness. They were, after all, the greatest kingdom once in the world, and they will be again. But you're not going to do it by isolating yourself. The reason why China did not become so powerful is the Ming Dynasty, closed China, did not allow their general, their admiral, who had 300 huge ships, each ship 10 times bigger than a galleon at that time, roaming the Indian Ocean. And I read one book that even reached South America. They stopped that. Sayang. Otherwise, for them, China would be the greatest power continually. So, transformational. Then, the third aspect of transformational, are you an entrepreneur? Are you a magician? Can you create new things for the organization? That's why the leader needs to have a very developed right brain kasi the leader is the one that creates changes. Kung siguro kayo naguguluhan, bago mga projects natin, marami nag-iisip si Mr. Nang, well, that's his role. Guluhin ang mundo ninyo. Maghabol kayo. That's the role of the leader, to transform, to change, to drive. So he is the magician. And you are the prop girls. Assistant, please. The fourth aspect is of transformational leadership. Are you a good maestro, orchestrator, and mentor? Maestro because you need to coordinate, orchestrate the entire organization. I'm sure you're going to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And it needs more and more ability to orchestrate, to be the maestro. The second is to mentor, to make sure that we're developing the people, that their talents, their abilities, and their capacities. The third aspect of leadership is adaptive. Situations will change. Can you adapt to new situation? Kasi the environment changes. This time is Duterte. We're discombobulated by all the changes that he makes. He's the very first president that, sa akin, it takes a lot of balls to close Boracay. That really took a lot of balls. Huh? You might not think, no, ganyan talaga yan. Pero that took a lot of balls. But it makes, but why? Where were the balls coming from? An intense belief in the environment. Siguro nakuha na kay Gina Lopez kasi nung lumipad sila, all over, pinakita ni Gina, nawala na yung mga lupa ng mga lumad, sa kaka-mining na yan, nawala lahat yan, Sino bang natalo dyan? Di yung mga tao. Sino nagpasasa dyan? Ito yung mga nakatira dito sa Metro Manila. Pero yung mga tao, lalo naghirap. Sa mga mining sites, logging sites, lahat yan, mga lumad. They became poorer. So, what drives Duterte? That sense of values about the environment. Look, when you close Boracay, you're weighing two things. Environment, the people who were driven to the mountain, the original settlers there, versus the businessman, the fat cats of Boracay, who are putting all sorts of sewage and destroying the entire island. Diba? So to make that choice, medyo takes a lot of balls. Huh? Can you imagine all the powerful forces?